We're on. Yes. Oh, shit. Oops. Boomer Jack. Fun story. We actually had a place, a little restaurant chain in the town where I grew up called Boomer Jack's. It was a cool little bar and like sports bar. People go there and like watch the game, get fucked up, go home with college chicks. It was awesome. Loved it. All right, look at that. We got some friends up in here already. Good. Let's give everybody about 5 more seconds to join in, and then we'll get started teaching you how to avoid the friend zone forever. All right. Cool. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to the very, very, very best part of your day, your week, your month, your year, and potentially even the rest of your life. Oh no, I have forgotten my cool light, haven't I? It's so much better with the light. Bear with me for a moment. Simba, move. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Welcome to the duct tape show, baby. But it really is so much better. It really ties the whole thing together, don't you think? I know I certainly do. And at the end of the day, that's really what matters here. So, welcome to Live with Jack number 99, where I'm going to teach you today how to avoid the friend zone forever. I'm going to teach you the things that you need to know today to make sure that you never, ever, under any circumstances, ever end up stuck in the friend zone again. If you've ever found yourself in a situation like that, you know how much it sucks. But if you want to truly enjoy today's live stream, if you want to take it to the tippy tip top, to almost orgasmic levels, all you need to do is grab your glass, your mug, or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask, raise it high, and let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation bash. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now, we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's cheers with chaps, so don't be late. Cheers. Ah, coot. What? You thought I forgot my beer? Coot. I'm Jack. Papa Jack never forgets his beer. Although I do forget things all the time. This, somehow, always makes it in. So, let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson. Here we go. I've got my pointer marker. I'm going to be teaching you everything that you need to know to avoid the friend zone forever. And we're actually going to go through a lot of different things. So, if you think about being stuck in the friend zone, if you've been there, which we all have, right? Maybe you're there now, then you're looking at the end result of the problem. You're looking at a long series of things, but you're only seeing the end. I'm stuck in the friend zone. Help me, Jack. Right. I get it. But to make sure that you never end up there again, don't worry, we're going to get there. I promise. We're going to teach you how to get out of that. But to make sure that you also never end up there again, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know in order to prevent that from ever happening. So let's go ahead and start with understanding your role. This is your fault. Kind of. Even if it's not your fault, it's at least your responsibility. You see, you've wound up in a situation of your own making. It may not have been intentional, and I'm not here to cast blame or anything. Actually, what I'm here to say is, yes, don't get it in the first place, Coot. Yes, and we're going to get there, but I'm going to explain how you get there. All right, cool. So this is your responsibility. The fact that you're stuck in this situation is because of you. It's because of some things that you've done or not done, more likely. And that's the first thing that you need to admit. You need to look in the mirror and say, fuck, this is my fault, man. I did this. I got stuck here because I allowed it to happen. Okay. Now, it may not be exactly your fault, but it is your responsibility. And it's your responsibility to change it, to get out, and to prevent it from ever happening again. Understand that women, like all people, only respond to the situation that they're given. They can only answer the signals that you give them. Whatever stimulus, whatever information you give them, that's what they have, and that's what they perceive. And as we've talked about many times before, perception is reality. So her perception is her reality, and she's responding to what she's seeing, to what she's hearing, to what you're doing, how you're acting. So, with that said, you need to figure out what it is that you need to change or to do differently in order to change that situation and not be there again. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, Papa Jack, that's not fair. Why doesn't she have to do that? Why doesn't she have to understand me? Can't women just understand me whenever I say something? It would be so much easier that way. I hear you. It's not fair. What are you going to do about it, right? You can either bitch and moan about it, or you can take responsibility for it and actually start to fix it. As the old saying goes, right? Wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up faster. So you're not going to get your wishes, but what you can do, can I fix this so that it isn't glaring? Maybe a bit. Well, that's better. All right, good. So what you can do is you can reset and realign your whole situation, your whole mindset, the way that you view not just your relationship with, if you're in the friend zone right now, not just your relationship with her, but your entire relationship to women as a whole. And that's what you're going to need to do if you find yourself regularly getting stuck in the friend zone. That's a massive indicator that you need to make some serious changes. So it's time to reset. It's time to realign, shift our entire mindset, and stop allowing this to happen. How can you do that? Great question. We're going to be decisive and assertive. Now, everybody knows that women like men who are decisive, men who are assertive, men who take action, right? They don't like men who sit around and bitch and moan and complain about stuff, because that's unattractive in anybody. Women are allowed to get away with it. You know why? Because we want to fuck them. So they're allowed to do pretty much whatever they want in that regard. Again, it's not fair. It just is what it is. You, however, have to be decisive and assertive. What does that actually look like in practice, though? What does that mean? How do I do that? How do I act decisive and assertive? Okay, the first thing you have to do is you must stop being a people pleaser. You must stop that. You can't please all the people all the time. I'm sure you've heard that before, but this is especially true in dating. And the reason that this is so important in dating is because everything you do, literally every single thing, every behavior, or everything that you don't do, every lack of behavior, is going to attract some women and it's going to repel other women. It literally doesn't matter what it is. Everything you do is going to turn some women on and it's going to turn some off. So you need to accept that from the get-go, which also means you cannot be a people pleaser. It's impossible to do anything that's going to make everybody happy. There is always somebody who, no matter what the situation is going to be unhappy about whatever it is you're doing. If you wear a stupid pink hat, some of the girls are going to like it. Some of them are going to hate it. If you wear a floppy fedora thing, some of the girls are going to like it. Some of them are going to hate it. If you grow your hair long, some of the girls are going to like it. Some of them are going to hate it. If you shave your hair, some of the girls are going to like it. Some of the girls are going to hate it. Do you see yet my point? No matter what you do, some people are going to like it and some people are going to hate it, which means you're now free. You don't have to worry about trying to please everyone because it's literally impossible to do. So forget it. Who cares what other people say, what other people think, what other people want? It doesn't matter because it's not something that you can control and it's an impossible task anyway. So toss that out. You're no longer going to be a people pleaser. All right. then who should I please? Who should I take care of? Whose opinions, thoughts, feelings should I consider? Should I pay heed to? Easy. Your own. That's the most important thing. You have to figure out what it is that you actually want. The types. We've talked about the types before, and that's the start, right? That's the start of figuring out, I want to meet this type of girl for this type of relationship. Great. That's a good start. Now, what if we narrow it down a little bit? Because that alone doesn't really help us to get there, to start making clear and easy decisions. Instead, we want to narrow it down. We want to clearly define who it is that we're looking for. I'm looking for this type of girl for this type of relationship. I want her to have these traits or characteristics. I want her to demonstrate these behaviors, something like that. I want her to look this way. I want her to dress this way. I want her to be this type of person. Because the more specific that we can get with this, essentially this avatar that you're creating, this functionally dream girl in your mind, the more specific we can get, the better we can plan what it is that we want. And if we know what we want, then we can make decisions that bring us closer to achieving that goal. So instead of worrying about pleasing other people, what you do is you use this basic heuristic. You have this girl in your mind, you know exactly what you're looking for, and then you just say, okay, cool, this decision, does doing this thing bring me closer to achieving my goal? Or does it make me more attractive or more desirable to this type of girl who I want to attract? If yes, do the thing. If not, don't do the thing. And it actually becomes that easy. So the trick with decisiveness is not that you make decisions quickly with no thought whatsoever, although that is sometimes how it appears. But what it really is it's a set of predetermined desires, principles, goals, things that matter to you, so that making the decision is very easy. You already know what's most important to you. You already know what you're trying to do. So if the thing brings you closer to achieving that goal or makes you more attractive to that type of girl, then it's easy to say yes. And if it doesn't, then it's just as easy to say no. So you have your priorities straight. You know exactly what it is you want. You may have some conflicting priorities at times. Like, for example, your friends want to go to a nightclub and you have no interest in meeting girls at the nightclub. You can go if your friends are the higher priority, or you can do what I usually do whenever we're out for a night and some of the people want to go to a nightclub. I say, cool, have fun. I'll be hanging out at this bar, or I'll be hanging out in front of the 7-Eleven drinking beer, or I'll be at this other place instead. I'm not going to go to the nightclub. Why? Because I already have my decision made, my underlying set of principles, my goals, the things that matter to me. And so I'm able to easily say no to going to the nightclub. Plus, I just hate going to the nightclub. So this is important because this is being assertive. It's being decisive and it's being assertive, but it's not being aggressive. So sometimes whenever you say you want to do something or you don't want to do something, you feel a little bit timid. You don't really want to say that thing because, but like he really wants to go and like he's pressuring me to go and like maybe I should do this. Don't just forget that, right? Toss it out the window. It's only if it's something that matters to you, wherever your priorities are. So if going with your friend is a higher priority than whatever else, then you say yes. It wins on the priority list. Cool. If it's lower on the priority list, then you say no. It really is that simple. And you don't have to be a dick about it. You can just say, all right, that's cool. Y'all have fun. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be doing this thing. Let me know whenever you're finished there. And then you're actually cool about it. This is important. You can't turn into like a brooding little whiny bitch and be like, you didn't do the nightclub without me or some bullshit like that. Don't do that. Don't be that person, right? But you can easily just say no, and then you're fine with it because you've made the decision that you wanted to make. So it's easy. You're now decisive and you're now assertive because you have already set in your mind what it is that matters most to you and what you want to do. So the heuristic is simple. You just follow that. Right. Crystal clear intentions. Oh, this is important. Whenever you're talking to girls, whenever you're talking to any one particular woman, you have some kind of intention with her. Whatever that intention is, it doesn't matter, but it needs to be made clear quickly and easily. Now, that intention might be something as simple as, I just want to talk to you, just get to know you. I want to kind of feel you out, see what's going on here, see if we click. Or it could be, I really want to stick my dick in you. Or it could be, hey, I think she would be a great fit for Julius. I want to bring her over here. Or it could be, I want to see if I can make her buy me a drink. Whatever your intention is, you want to be moving towards that, and you want it to be pretty clear, right? Especially if you're interested in trying to pursue something with her. The best way to do this is to be clearly decisive and assertive in everything that you do, whatever it is. You want to walk up and talk to the girl? You walk up. Hey, I'm Jack. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? Simple. It's assertive. You just walk up and talk to her. That's the thing that you wanted to do. You want to ask her to get a drink with you? You seem like a cool girl. Let me guess. I think you're probably a vodka tonic girl. Am I right? No? Gin? Absolute monster. You know what? You would get along great with Coot, but we'll get there later, okay? You have to buy me a drink before you get to start meeting my friends. Speaking of which, let's go over to the bar. We can grab a drink. Simple, easy. You start something and it's clear from the get-go. I want to get a drink with you. What you got for me, Coot? You tell the girl you won't be her friend. Some try to make a plan to make you her friend anyway. Yeah, we're going to get there. I promise. I promise. I promise. That is very much a part of this. But for this first part, all that it is just being decisive. It's just being assertive. It's just being clear about what it is that you want, not waffling on that decision, not trying to pretend, oh, well, it might be a thing and I'm open to a thing and, oh, well, maybe we can. No, fuck that. Don't live in a world of maybes. What, like, you're basically just in an ocean letting waves carry you around. You're not making any decisions for yourself. You're giving up your agency because you're afraid of making somebody unhappy with the decision that you make. That is a weak mentality, and you have to absolutely throw that thing out the window. You have to own your decisions because, like I said earlier, no matter what you do or don't do, no decision is still a decision, and that's going to make some people mad. So if you abscond from making the decision and then people are mad about it, you're still responsible. No matter what the outcome is, good or bad or in between or nothing, whatever, you're still responsible for it. So if you're going to be responsible for the outcome, which you are, then you may as well take your agency back and be responsible for the decision in the first place. Own it and choose the thing that you want. That's what it looks like to be decisive and assertive. Now, decision-making mojo, basically, girls are really, really into it. Whenever guys make decisions quickly, easily, simply, they love it. They love it. Why do they love it? Because I've talked about this before, but women love it whenever guys make decisions because whoever makes the decision is responsible for the outcome. Same thing, whoever refuses to make the decision is still responsible for the outcome, right? But women don't want to be responsible for the outcome of anything. They don't want to be responsible if the venue sucks that they choose, or if they suggest a restaurant and the food sucks, or the waiter spits in your food, or whatever. They don't want to be responsible for it. And if they make the decision of where to go, of what to do, of any of this, then they're responsible for the outcome. So, yeah, again, it's not fair, but fuck you. This is life, right? This is reality. You're responsible for it. So you may as well take the responsibility for the decision as well. And they love it. They love it, love it, love it when you do this, when you just own every decision. And it's clear, it's simple, it's easy. So be decisive, be assertive. Next up, the unvarnished truth. This is where it gets fun. You have to actually tell the truth. You need to be clear. You need to be upfront. You need to be honest about what it is that you want, what it is that you're trying to do. You need to make it clear to her what it is that you're trying to do. So one of the reasons that a lot of guys get stuck in the friend zone is because they essentially act like a friend. They talk to her in this kind of like standoffish way. They don't push anything too hard because they're afraid. But what if I hurt her feelings? Oh, but what if she's offended? Oh, what if she doesn't like it? Who gives a shit? But that's why people end up in the friend zone, because they talk in this couched protective language, self-protective, because they're afraid of making the decision and owning the outcome. But like I said, you're going to have the outcome anyway, and you're still going to be responsible for it. Take the decision. Absolutely. They act in this way. That's like, I'm not going to push it. I don't, but I'm interested in her, but I'm not sure if she's interested in me or not. So I'm just going to kind of wait around and see if she gives me some signals. And then maybe I'll go and I'll post on Reddit about it and say like, hey guys, this girl today, she was looking at me, right? And then I think she winked and she played with her hair a little bit. Is that a signal? Oh, should I try to talk to her next Wednesday whenever I see her? Fuck off, man. Stop waiting. Stop pussyfooting around. Stop doing all this stuff. Stop. Just be real. Just be honest. And here's the thing. I know I'm coming across quite strong in the way that I'm explaining this to you. But also I get it, right? Because I've been there before and I've felt that way before. And I've been scared to talk to a girl or to tell her that I was interested in her, that I liked her or anything like that. I get it. It is scary because the fear of rejection is very, very real. Here's the thing though. If you try, you have a chance of success and a chance of failure. And if you don't, you're guaranteed to fail. So, do you want a chance to succeed or not? And if you are interested in a girl, if you do like her, if you do want to go on a date with her, if you do want to try to build something together with her, do it. Talk to her. Actually be upfront and ask her if she's interested, right? Now, this is where some of you guys, I know this because again, I've done this. I've been there. All this stuff that I teach, I learned all this through experience because I fucked everything up a million times before. So all of this stuff that I'm telling you not to do, it's because I've tried it and I've been there. You need to ditch the hangout haze. This is something that I've seen a lot of guys do. They'll talk to a girl and they'll say, yeah, okay, good. I'm going to go ask her out. And they'll go up to her and say like, hey, Alicia, we should hang out sometime. Let's do something. Let's, hang out. What the fuck is that? What is that? You're couching your words in a way that it's defensible, where you can say like, oh, no, I didn't mean that. If she rejects you, right? If she says like, oh, no, sorry, we're just friends. I'm not thinking about it that way. Then you can back off it because you want to kind of keep her around because maybe you'll get another chance later, right? That's what's going on in your head. That's what you're thinking. No, that is not the case at all. It's not the case. And even though in your mind you're thinking, well, I would rather keep her around as a friend than lose her entirely. No, you wouldn't. Your dick wants you to keep her around because it's thinking, well, maybe I'll have a chance to slide in her one day. You won't. You don't. That's not how this works. If you're that deep in the friend zone, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But you can't stick around and hope that it's going to change. You can't stay in the same situation and assume that things will change. Oh, well, maybe when she stops dating that asshole, then she'll see how good I am. Yeah, between saying date and hang out, yes, absolutely. And I'm about to get to that. Look, if you're in a situation and everything stays the same, you can't expect the results to change, right? Now, you don't like the results you're getting now, but you're trying to stay in the same situation and hope and pray that the results will change. They won't. So stop waiting, stop pussyfooting around it, and just talk to her. Just ask her out. You do not ask her to hang out. You do not ask her to do something sometime. None of that. Okay? You want to be very specific about it, and you want to actually ask her to go on a date with you. And you should use this word. Use the word date. Hangout is bullshit. That's nothing. That will get you nowhere. Your worst case scenario is not that she says no. Your worst case scenario is that she says yes, but you're still stuck in the friend zone. that she goes to hang out with you, but she's not interested in anything at all with you. Then you've wasted your time. You've probably paid for things, right? Because you're a gentleman like that and you're a people pleaser. And you want to make sure that she looks at you that way, right? So you're going to use your time, you're going to use your money, you're going to use your resources, you're going to use your mental energy, your emotional energy, all of this for a girl who has no interest in you. Or like Jesus, you can save. You can save your time, your money, your mental energy, your emotional energy, your fucking soul by just asking her from the get-go, hey, you know what? We should go on a date sometime. Let's me and you, let's go and grab a drink at this place. I know this great bar. They make an amazing martini. Have you ever had a good martini? It's really rare, especially here in Korea. It's really rare to find a good martini, but I know this place that genuinely makes an amazing martini. Let's go over there. We're going to have a date. We can have a chat, get to know each other a little bit. Or you can slide into it a little bit, smoother than that, like without dropping your marker. Although it doesn't really matter, right? But you could even do something like, hey, you seem like a cool person. And even though we've talked a little bit, I feel like we haven't had a chance to get to know each other very well. Tell you what, let's go on a date, sit down, have a chat, get to know each other a little bit better, see if we click. Perfect. Great. Easy. Simple. Socially calibrated. This is the important part, is it's socially calibrated. It sounds like no big deal because it isn't, right? It isn't. It's not that big of a deal. So embrace it and treat it as such. It's just a time for the two of you to get to know each other and see if you click at all. You're not in love with her. You don't know much about her yet. She doesn't know much about you. This is a good chance for you to find out if you actually get along well, to find out if you click, if there's chemistry. That's the whole point of the date. It really is just, I'm willing to take a chance on this. Are you? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's go do that. Let's give it a try. And that's it. It's that simple. So ask her on the date. And if you need to, go back, rewind this to what I just said. You seem like a cool person. Even though we've talked a little bit, I feel like we haven't had a chance to get to know each other, something like that. And then set up the date. Actually set the date. While you're there, you want to set the date. Or at the very least, you want to say, okay, good. So I think I'm going to be free on Thursday. I'm not entirely sure right now. Go ahead and put your number in my phone and I'll text you later and we'll set up the logistics, the date and time and when and where to meet. Okay, perfect. Great. Plug it in and then actually text, but only text about the logistics. 90% of your texting, especially early on in the relationship, is just logistics. That's it. No good morning. No, how are you? No, oh, how are you feeling today? Did you have a good day? How was work? Did you eat Lucky Charms for breakfast? Just like vomiting chit chat into that stuff. Don't do that. Just set the date. Have your conversation on the date. Get there. Okay? So again, this is decisive. It's assertive. It's just saying, this is a thing that I've noticed. This is a thing that I want. I want to try to do this. Do you want to do this thing too? Yes. Excellent. No? Okay, cool. No hard feelings. I'm not upset. Don't get mad if she says no. Don't get mad. You don't get bitter. Don't, oh, you must be a fucking lesbian or any weird shit like that. Don't do that. Don't do any of that. It's fine. It's just like anything else, right? If somebody says, hey, Jack, do you want to go see the new Marvel movie? No, thanks. I'm good. Okay. It's on the same level with that. It's just, this is a thing that I'm interested in doing. Do you want to do it? Yes or no. Either way, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. You have to accept that there's a chance of her saying no. But the cool thing about this is that if you ask in a simple, assertive way, like what I just said, and then if she says, no, I'm not really interested, it doesn't feel that bad. It doesn't feel like a very serious rejection because it was such a simple ask, just a yes or no. And then okay, cool, no problem. And that's fine. That's socially calibrated. And here's the thing is, if you ever maybe would have a chance of things turning around and changing, this is how you do it. right? Like Montel Jordan, this is how you do it, is you ask her out, and then if she says no, it doesn't bother you one bit and you just move on. Because that is very decisive, very assertive, very truthful, very honest, and extraordinarily confident. All the things that women actually like in men. So this is how you do it. You actually ask her in a normal, socially calibrated way. And then no matter what she says, yes or no, you're fine with it. You're not overly excited. You're not overly disappointed. In fact, you're kind of neutral to it. It's just, oh, cool, that's the thing that we're going to do. Or, oh, okay, cool. Well, now I have more free time and money. No problem, right? Either way, it's a win-win. So you accept it with grace and dignity, regardless of the answer. Now let's go ahead and bring some of these guys in here. We've got this one. Oh, yeah, mini chat about dates and hangouts. Yeah, exactly. If you want to bang her, don't be her friend. Yeah, I mean, like, cool, we're friends. We would never bang. See how that works? Friend equals no banging. Banging equals not friend. Hey, that's exactly it. All right, cool. We've got one here from Solosin here. Replace hangout with date. Yes, kind of. Yes, that is correct. But you want to ask it in a way that it's very clear this is a date. Not like you still don't want to. The example I gave earlier was like, oh, we should hang out sometime. That's garbage. But even if you replace that with date and you say, we should go on a date sometime, it's better, but it's still very indecisive and it's not assertive at all. I think you're always going to be much better off making it clear, I want to go on a date. This is the thing that I want to do. This is the thing that I want to do anyway, with or without you. Like go have that martini or go play fucking putt-putt or whatever it is that you're going to ask her to do. Doesn't matter. It's something that you want to do anyway. So you're asking her, you're inviting her to enjoy that activity with you, to enjoy that drink, that food, that place, whatever it is that you're doing together. All right. Now, that has explained how you become more decisive, how you become more assertive, and how you actually make your intentions known and make them clear. So, with this much, you should never end up in the friend zone again, probably. But there are still a few more things that you can do to guarantee, 100% guarantee, that you will never end up in the friend zone again. And the first thing you need to do is you need to absolutely banish the F word. And that means friend. See what I did there? Oh, Jack, oh, you're so funny. You're so clever. Yeah, seriously, though, banish the F word. Toss it out entirely. Anytime a girl uses the word friend to describe you, unless she's like your sister's bestie or something, if she's somebody that's totally off limits for whatever other reason, or you're just genuinely 100% not interested at all. But even then, right? Like, now I'm going to go ahead and draw a hard line here. Unless it is one of those extenuating circumstances of like your sister's bestie or somebody who's, too young or something like that. Anytime a girl uses the word friend to describe you, absolutely stop the conversation right there, no matter what it is, right? And it's going to be a bit awkward at first, right? This is not going to be comfortable or normal to you at first, but stop the conversation. We're not friends. We're not friends. I don't need friends. I have enough friends. If I want to talk to somebody about video games, I have someone to talk to about that. I have friends. If I want somebody to go drinking and make some bad decisions until the morning train with, I have friends. I already have people for that. I don't need any more friends. It's not a position that needs to be filled. It's not a position that's open. You don't have to go through all this explanation, but you just say, no, we're not friends. I'm not friends with girls. You can actually just keep it that simple. I'm not friends with girls. Okay, why? What do you mean? Well, the reality is that men and women aren't ever actually friends, right? I can't be completely open and honest with them. And there's always going to be an underlying sexual tension there no matter what. So we are either trying to hook up or we're not interested in each other and there's no point in us hanging out, right? Now, obviously, there are some situations where you're going to hang out with women or you're going to do things together with women that is not of a sexual or romantic nature, like coworkers or things like that, family, friends, certain events or whatever else. And like, okay, cool. That's fine because those are specifically not romantic situations. And it's even better, honestly, if you can avoid that. If you can avoid working with women, your life will be better for it. I guarantee that. But just as a general rule, you're not friends with any girls, right? That's not a thing. So you toss that word entirely out the window. And this is doubly, triply, quadruply, quintuply true. If you're out with a girl and she uses the word friend or something like that, or if she calls you dude or buddy or bro or something like that, stop the conversation right there and be like, wait, just so that we're clear, you and I are out together as a man and a woman, right? We're not friends. And then if she's surprised, then you fucked up because you didn't actually do this correctly and you didn't say that it was a date. But that's okay. You can still salvage it here. What you do is you just say, okay, cool. I obviously miscommunicated. My fault. Anyway, I'm only interested in you as a man and a woman. I'm interested in trying to pursue this romantically and see if something happens between us. If that's not how I made you feel about this, then that's on me. That's my fault. But that is where I am. So if you're interested, cool. We can stay here. We can keep this date going. But if you're not, no hard feelings. But also, there's the door, right? So what do you want to do? That is incredibly powerful. And it's so important too, because you cannot let the date go on where you're trying to act like it's a date and you're trying to like save it or something, but she's happily oblivious. She's like, oh, great. This guy's such a good friend. He invites me out and buys me a bunch of free food and drinks. It's just the best. And I don't even have to let him touch my tits. Hey, great. Fuck that, right? No, absolutely not. You need to completely banish the F word entirely. Masculine mystique. Oh, right. This one basically leads into the next one, right? Where we're going to be talking about creating your aura. I talked a little bit earlier about I talked earlier about being more decisive and assertive, and that's generally viewed as a highly masculine trait. If you become well practiced with this, if you understand your values, your principles, your goals, the things that are important to you, you have your priorities listed out and already predetermined in your mind, then you will come across as very masculine, even if you don't come across as physically masculine or masculine in more traditional ways. You're going to be viewed as very masculine. This is very alluring. It's very attractive to women, period. But when you take that and you add to it the aura, the sexual aura that I'm about to teach you about how to create, you cannot be put in the friend zone. You cannot, right? So the aura is essentially, this is how I use it. This is how I describe it because I can't think of a better word, but it's this sense about you that you are a sexual being, that you own it. You don't try to hide it because we're fucking humans, right? We're all sexual beings. This is literally our one job, biologically speaking. Our bodies have been designed and evolved to do one thing, and that's to bang as much as possible and pump out little crotch goblins left and right so that we can reproduce. That's literally your one biological imperative. So yeah, of course you're a sexual being. It's how you're designed. And you own it. You don't hide it. You don't try to pretend, well, I'm not one of those guys. Oh, men only want one thing and it's fucking disgusting. Or like any bullshit like that. You don't try to play around with that stuff because it's stupid. And it's also a lie, right? Honesty is alluring. Women love a man who's completely, unabashedly honest and open about his own sexuality. And I don't mean being gross, being over the top, anything like that. I mean just owning the fact that you're a sexual being, that you're interested in other people sexually, and you're willing to push that and pursue it. The way that this actually comes across, or rather the way that you demonstrate this thing, because show, don't tell, right? The way that you actually demonstrate this thing is you tease, you play, you have banter, you make sexual jokes or comments, again in a somewhat tasteful way. Your goal is to push it just over the line of what would be socially acceptable or socially appropriate. Don't make my dick's so big that whatever kind of jokes. Like, don't make the same types of jokes that you would make with guys, but you want to make jokes that kind of push or hint at a sexual nature. You might want to include some double meanings or something. Use a little bit of wordplay in your flirting, in your teasing. And here's the fun bit. This aura is pretty much always on. So when you do this, you're flirting with everybody all the time. You're flirting with the world, and they understand what it is, because that's the sign of somebody who's confident, who owns their sexuality. Not somebody who's trying to force it onto other people, not that at all, but somebody who's real about it, owns it, and says, yeah, of course I am, right? What a silly question. I'm a man. Of course I want sex. That's not a secret, right? This is every guy. So you just own that, and you act in that way all the time. When you add these two together, you add that kind of sexual aura along with the other masculine traits that we talked about back here. No girl will ever put you in the friend zone. Now, she might not be interested, and that's fine. That's a totally separate thing, right? Because there are plenty of girls out there, believe me, there are plenty of women who hate me, who want nothing to do with me. That's fine. Doesn't bother me one bit. No sweat whatsoever. That's okay. But do you know what there's not? There's not any women who think, oh, well, Jack must like me as like a friend. He's always so nice to me. And, he does this and this and this and this and this for me. So he must think that I'm a great friend. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Every woman who I know knows that if the situation were correct, right? If I didn't have Lady North, and if she was also similarly single, they know that I would try to have sex with them. They know that. That's part of it. That's just who I am. That's the reality. And I own that. Now, that's not a bad thing, right? There might be some people who are like, oh, but I don't want people to think of me like that. Why? You're a man. That's literally what we expect all the time. We expect that men want to have sex with every woman that they see if they find her attractive. If they don't find her attractive, they don't want to talk to her at all. Period. They don't want to be her friend, right? You're not out there trying to make friends with the uggos and the land whales. No, you're not. Why are you trying to make friends with the hot girls then? Because you think that the strategy of try to make friends with her and then like kind of slip your way in there is a successful strategy. It's not. It's absolutely not a successful strategy whatsoever. There might be some exceptions to that rule. Some people who have done it the same way that there are some people who have won the lottery. That does not mean buying lottery tickets is a successful investment strategy. It's not. It's awful. Terrible investment strategy. Same thing here. Don't try to be the exception. Try to limit your exposure to luck, to risk, to needing luck in order to succeed. Because the less luck you need to succeed, the less of an exception you have to be in order to be successful, the better your chances of actually succeeding. The more you can keep things in your control, the more successful you will be, because those are things that you can adjust, that you can try, that you can test, that you can change, that you can iterate on and improve. But if your entire strategy is to hang out and not be sexual whatsoever around her and just treat her like a friend, because maybe one day she'll notice how kind and smart and what was the other one? I can't remember. Kind and smart and something else. Oh, loyal you are. Yes, she's going to figure out how kind, smart, and loyal you are. Then she's going to fall in love with you, right? I've talked about this before, so you guys who have seen this, who have heard me, I apologize in advance. But in a large scale study done, they asked hundreds of hot women what the most important traits were in a man for them, and the 3 lowest scoring traits by far out of like, I think it was like 50 or 60 different traits, but the 3 lowest scoring traits, the 3 that women didn't care about whatsoever, were kindness, intelligence, and loyalty. Those are the lowest traits. They don't care. So if your strategy is, I'm going to sit around and act like a friend and hope that she sees the value in the 3 things she cares about the least, and then decides to touch my willy, that's a really bad strategy, man. It's a really bad strategy. Instead, what you do is you become decisive and assertive. You actually own your situation. You take responsibility for your problem, and you figure out how to fix it. You figure out what your priorities are. You make the decisions, and you're assertive about it. You're honest and clear about your intentions, about what it is that you want and what you're trying to do. And you ask her out. You ask her specifically, ask her out on a date. And then, whether it's a yes or no, you accept gracefully. And then finally, you do these strategies as well. You banish the F word entirely. You develop your masculine mystique. You develop the aura. You sexualize yourself and the world around you. And you set your boundaries about what she can't do, because she's not your friend. That's not how this works. And then you'll never, ever, ever end up in the friend zone ever again. Now, if you found anything in this lesson useful, helpful, insightful, funny, stupid, maybe you think that I'm an absolute fucking clown. Okay, great. Whatever you thought about it, I agree. But please do me a big favor and hit the like button, no matter what you thought of the video, because it helps me to improve and it helps me to get my message out to more people. Maybe you know somebody who's doing that strategy, that like, oh, I'm just going to be her friend and cozy up to her. Yes, like Coop said, like a little dog, and hope that maybe one day she wants to fuck me. Maybe you know somebody who does that, and you need to send him this video so that he can stop getting stuck in the friend zone and he can take responsibility and actually develop the skills needed to improve his dating life. So send it to somebody who you think could find this message helpful. Like I said, drop the like button. It really helps me a lot, and I would consider it as a personal favor. So thank you for doing that. Now, with all that said, it's time to move on to the best part of every weekly live stream, which is the live Q&A with the player panel. So let's go ahead and bring our friend in from the snowy lands of Norway. What's up, Santa Claus? I mean,
What's
Paul.
up?
How are you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. It's finally on the plus sides on the temperature scale here, so it's not too bad.
Well, then it's warmer than it is here.
Well, it's been a turbulent week. If I go back to last weekend, it was minus 25, and today it's like 7 degrees.
Oh. Okay,
so it's like 30 degrees difference in the span of, what, 5 days, 6 days?
Yeah. We never hit minus 25, so at least
it's kind of terrible.
I think the lowest that we got this week was like minus 16 or so. Like, still pretty damn cold, but not minus 25 levels. All right. Shall we jump straight into it? I saw that we had some comments popping up here. Could you bring up Coot's comment here of...
we can just take them and...
All right, yeah. Let's just run through them. She usually doesn't say no, but I have work or some silly excuse. Then insisting either gets you a change of time, date, or a direct no. Yeah, so to that point, if a girl says like, oh, I'd love to, but I'm busy that day. If she gives you an excuse, but she doesn't offer an alternative, then you can just, like, she's not interested. But also you can just call that out directly. And, you know, if she says something like, oh, I'd love to, but you just say, all right, cool. I guess you're not interested. That's cool anyway. You know, when you change your mind, though. If she says friend, I'm never going to be your friend, or a variant is my line, that's fine as well. Yeah, banish the F word. I'm not friends with girls. There's surprised and oblivious. I had a girl bring wine to my place while I cooked, and she told me it's a hangout and we're friends while you were on your bed. How can I be more explicit than this? Yeah, I mean, like, willful ignorance also still exists, right? Like whenever girls do shit like that, it's genuinely possible, especially if they're younger, that they are that naive. Like the first time that I went out with Lady North, uh, she tried to use the F word during the date, and she said something about friend, or I was going to be a good friend, or she'd always wanted a foreigner friend, or some shit like that. She didn't know that it was a date, even though I called it a date. It was at a bar on Friday night at 9:30. Like it was very, very explicit and obvious, but she was so naive that she actually said, "Oh, I thought you were joking about the date thing." And I absolutely am not. So you're either in or you're out. What do you want to do? Obviously, she stuck around.
Yeah, I think that's quite important, just like to be able to distinguish when they're just naive or oblivious and when they are deliberately doing it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we have some questions from the kid this week.
Awesome.
Well, the first one here is kind of goes in a little bit similar thing. So, how do you express intent to a girl who you met through a social circle without risking your standing within the social group? Could be at work, a group of friends, etc., etc.
I would not recommend doing any of this with a coworker. I I know like people still do it, but it's a bad idea, and there are so many better places to meet women. There's not a shortage of women in the world. Now there might be a shortage of good women. Okay, fine, semantics, but there. I wouldn't date a coworker unless you genuinely think that you have a very good chance of marrying her. I would treat dating a coworker the same way that I would treat dating a friend's sister. It's a no-no. Absolutely off limits unless you're gonna fucking marry her. Those are the only two options there. I wouldn't recommend it with a coworker. Now in a social circle, like a friend group or something like that, I think actually that's not difficult at all. You can use the same line that I explained earlier of like, hey, you seem cool, but I haven't really had a chance to get to know you well yet. Let's go on a date. We can grab a drink and talk and, see if we click, see how things go. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not weird. It's not awkward. If you ask somebody on a date simply and clearly, you don't hide the intention behind it. Then if they say yes, okay, cool. And if they say no, then okay, cool. No problem. It only becomes a thing if you're asking literally every single person, every girl that your friends introduce you to. Like if you come across as needy, desperate, creepy, something like that, then it could be weird. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. What do you think, Paul?
I completely agree. Like as for the work thing, I guess it slightly depends on how big your company is. If you're working in
Okay.
a like major building, say there's 3, 4, 5, 6 floors, and like yeah, you've seen her during lunch and you ask her out, then that's fine. Like you are not in the same workplace technically.
Yeah.
However, like if it's someone you work close with at work, no, don't
Yeah.
do not do it. As for friend groups, just be yourself. Ask her out. I remember a particular New Year's Eve where we were like just big friend group, like extended friend group. So I had never met this person before, but like she's part of my friend group. She is, and I was just like, okay, she looks hot. I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
Of course, I was just hitting on her straight there and then, right?
Sure.
Who gives a
Absolutely.
shit, right?
Yeah.
And then when she said, no, I'm not interested,
Okay.
okay, then fine.
No
Then
problem.
luckily for me, there came another girl around and I hit on her instead.
Yeah.
And no one cared. Like no one gave a shit, right?
Exactly.
Because Because if it's someone that's a part of your friend group and your friend group already knows you as this kind of person, no
You
one is
have
gonna
the
bat
art.
an yeah, like no one is gonna bat an eye that you hit on some girl,
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
whether she's their friend or not.
I mean, same way. Like if you and your girlfriend, if you know Papa Jack was single and you guys brought around one of her friends, you wouldn't be surprised that I hit on her friend, right? Like you would have to build that expectation in to
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, like if I'm gonna bring a girl around and she's hot and single, Jack's probably gonna try and hit on her.
Well,
That's
I will
okay.
I will stretch that to like even if I am with my girlfriend and she brings her friend around, if the girl is hot, I'm still gonna be flirting because that's who I
Yeah,
am.
yeah, no,
Because that's the
exactly.
dynamic. That's how I interact with girls,
Yeah,
right? So like even though I have no intention of anything, I'm still
sure.
gonna be flirty banter, like treating her like my little sister because that's how I interact with girls.
Exactly, exactly.
And
I'm the
every
same way
girl is
with
the
Lady
same.
North's friends, right? I'm very
Yeah,
flirty
right.
with them. I'm very playful. It's fine.
Yeah. So no one, and to that point, I had an ex a couple. This is quite a few years ago. Anyway, her best friend is really, really hot. So of course, again, always flirting with them, right?
Hmm.
And like nothing can happen as long as I'm together with your best friend, right? And then a couple years after we broke up, we ended up at a party. Both of them were there because we're in the same friend group.
Hmm.
And I still went home with my ex's best friend because she already had this aura of like, okay, I don't care that you slept with my best friend and you guys were together for years.
Hmm.
It's long enough since now, and the sexual aura is enough for me to be interested.
Yeah,
So I think like for the friend group thing, if you've established yourself as this kind of person, then no one is gonna react any different than if you went to hit on a girl in a bar.
sure. Interestingly enough, I do think that there is a significant difference between the acceptance of girls to hook up with their friends' exes, but guys
Mm.
would not.
Yeah, I
Like
think so too.
it now, obviously there situations where you become Eskimo bros. Or like if you're just hooking up with a girl and then like a few weeks later like things have stopped. You guys hooked up once or twice and then your buddy runs into her at a bar and is like, oh, free blowies. Yeah, I'm in, right? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
It's fine. But like if it's actually a real relationship, there is no chance that I would ever date a girl who I had initially met as my friend's girlfriend.
yeah,
There's
I
zero,
am the same way.
yeah. Like
And I
that
think
would
that
just be
that
so
goes,
unacceptable to me.
yeah, that is very much a reality. Like you do, it is bros before hoes in that world, right? Like the
Yeah.
second you've been exclusive with someone, then that person is permanently off limits to everyone that considers me their friend,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I hate most about I apologize. I'm about to get just a little bit political, but I'll come off it in a second. One of the things that I hate most about Hunter Biden is that he's banging his dead brother's widow. And like, oh, that is in no way, shape, or form acceptable. Like, yeah, sure, corruption, political pay for play, bribery, that's to be expected. That's in the world of politics. That's just human nature bullshit, right? But banging your dead brother's widow, nah, man, never.
I actually experienced this on New Year's Eve this year. So we
You
were at
banged your dead brother's widow?
yes, I did. No, the other way around. So we were at the party, like we just finished dinner, like all the guys, and then the rest of the people arrived to the party, right? And then my ex is around, like my Norwegian ex from like 10, 12 years ago.
Mhm.
And one of my friends, like the next time we were like out having a cigarette or whatever, he's like, "Can I hit on her?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'd forgotten she exists. Go ahead."
Yeah.
but
That's fine. If
because
you
then he
ask
asked
permission,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
You ask permission, you're like, hey, are we cool? Is this a thing? And also, if it's that long ago,
Yeah.
right? Like, okay, there may be some situations there where it could be acceptable, still not encouraged, but acceptable. But I don't know. I would always err on the side of no, don't do it. Coot says he's also maybe banging his niece too. I didn't know that, but that's. I mean, I've nothing to say to that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Let's go on to the next question.
So the next question is, how long do you have to express intent before you're stuck in the friend zone for good?
That obviously going to be different in every single circumstance, but if you're doing it right, they should know that you're interested. Basically, the moment that you decide that you're interested, right? If you see a girl and you have an initial reaction to her and you're like, oh, I want to try to hit on you, then you should start doing it then, not waiting until like, oh, is there a deadline? Is there a time limit on this? Is there like, it should be pretty much immediate. Oh, sorry. Whenever you decide that this is a thing that you want, then you should be actively trying to pursue the thing that you want. That's the same with anything in the world where it's like, how much weight am I allowed to gain before I'm a fat ass and I have to go to the gym? It's like, what? Don't know. It's just, if that's a thing that you want to do, then do the thing, right? With anything, right? Don't wait for shit to build up. Don't put it off. Don't pussyfoot around. Just do the thing or don't do the thing, right? But either way, make your decision then, and then stick to that thing.
Mm-hmm. I would say my approach to that is a little bit different because instead of me needing to be interested before they know it's on, I'd rather go for the, like, me as a person, like whenever I'm talking to a girl, like I am touchy, I treat all of them the same, no matter whether I like them or not, right?
Yeah.
So my approach to that is like they should be like, whether I like them or not, they should always be questioning that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because at that point, like, you never get into the friend zone because every single girl from the moment you met them thought at some point that you were interested,
yes.
because you constantly are flirting with everyone.
Right.
And
Women should feel, if you're doing it right, they should feel slightly cautious around you, knowing that if they try to get closer to you, they should expect that you're going to want a romantic or a sexual connection, because that's just the way that you act, period.
yeah,
You seem like the kind of person who, if I go and hang out with you one-on-one, you're going to want to try to do something. That's not a bad thing. Again, that sounds like a bad thing because society has trained you to think that way. But the reality is she should feel a sense of caution about, I don't know if I should ask him to come out with me or to hang out with me or to be my date to prom or whatever else, unless I'm willing to at least have it be a date, right? That's how women should feel around you. That's how they should think.
I'm gonna answer the kid's question here. He says, even the fatty. Actually, yes, I will still be flirty with everyone. There are situations where I've been in corner pub and probably the ugliest girl around, she had decided that, okay, I might have been too flirty.
Mm.
And she was like, we were playing beer pong, and she's like standing, like, I took her on my team because one of the other guys were hitting on her friend, which
Mm.
literally just wingman it, right? And then she goes like, I think I love you. And I'm like, hey, Ricky, you got to come over here and take over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and like that's fine. You can, if they are fun to be around and to talk to, then yes, you're being flirty, you're having a good time. Yes, even the fatty. Um, the one situation where I would not default to being nice, fun, playful, flirty is around white chicks. And that's because I don't want them to even think of me at all as a man. Because
To me,
most
that's
of them
more
are not,
like,
they're not fun to talk to. They're not fun to be around. Now, occasionally I'll meet an exception to the rule. And then I'll be like, oh, you're one of the cool ones? Oh, okay, cool. Now I can actually be normal and play with you and flirt with you. All right, cool. Neat. But most of the time I'm just like, nah, shut up, Bambi. Go home.
yeah, but that's exactly the thing, right? Like, I will be flirty and fun until I'm like, okay, you're just dead boring. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. By the way, for you guys watching, if y'all have questions, you can type them into the chat and we will field them as we go. Let's jump on to the next question.
Some guys believe that they should be friends with a girl before pursuing her romantically. Does that ever work? If so, is there a specific type it works better for?
No.
Yeah,
Some guys
exactly.
believe that. Those guys are wrong.
Yeah, I will say, like, the only time this is ever remotely acceptable is if that you first weren't interested at all.
Yeah. If you
So
weren't
you guys
interested and then you
became
were
friends when
interested,
you had no
sure.
interest in her, and then say she was okay, you were younger, and then she filled in, or
Grew a set of
she
tits,
just
yeah.
yeah, or she like started going to the gym and she's looking 10 times better than she used to. Things like that. Yes, there are situations where you are friends first, but at that point you would have been friends and then you started liking her. You don't start liking her, become friends, then pursue something romantically.
Yeah. Uh, and even then, friends is
Oh, the odds are
hard.
so hard. It's so hard. Like, the second you've been friends for a long time and then you start liking someone, it's
Oh,
so hard to get out of it.
yeah.
Because then there is this built relationship between you and it's so hard to break.
Sure. Now, kind of, yes. Like I'm with you there. But I even still, I think that the word friend is a little bit strong there because you can be friends then date when puberty happens. You're not 13 anymore. Whoo! I'm not going to touch that one with a 10.5 foot pole. Um, oh, Simba, you want to come and join? Okay, come here. Oh, there you go, buddy. All right, good. Oh yeah, friends. Being friends with women, it's more just like there are. I have female acquaintances who I get along with, but I would never like call them to say like, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's hang out. Let's catch up. I haven't seen you in a while. We should get together, chat." Like that. That's not a thing that I do, but I would with guy friends, with actual friends. And I think that it's an important distinction to make there because essentially these girls who I know, who I get along with well, these acquaintances that, yeah, sure, I guess we're friends, right? But not actually friends. Essentially, what it is it's like, oh, you're cool. If I were single and you were single, I would definitely try to hook up with you. But we're not. So I guess we'll just, be cool around each other. But still, like, I'm not going to call you to fucking help me move. I'm not going to call you if I need to borrow money or whatever. Like, you're not a friend, right? You're just somebody who I'm cool with. That's different.
Yeah, I think like that term friend is really, really hard to to properly describe in the situation,
Yeah.
because to me the girls that are friends, there
Mhm.
are some girls I have that are friends,
Sure.
that are girls I will never sleep with, but they are cool people.
Yeah.
You know, some of them, uh like certain people working in bars
Yeah.
that
Sure.
genuinely hang out with when we're not working or just grabbing lunch together and doing so.
Yeah.
But I would never ask them to go to dinner. Like,
Right.
I would grab lunch with them, and like, if we're doing a gaming marathon on the PlayStation, sure, I'll ask if she want to join.
Yeah.
But then again, I know that that would never go to anything else because there's no interest either way, right?
I even like the ones that people would say like, oh, y'all are friends, right? Yeah, sure. I still feel like there's an underlying layer of interest of just like, not that I'm going to try to do anything, not that anything would necessarily happen, but if we were both single, an attempt would be made for sure, right? Like, do you get what I mean?
I understand what you mean.
Like, did you meet? You definitely met one of my old coworkers, that teacher who I brought around a few times, like RGB
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and like she and I are cool. We're friends. I wouldn't call her to go out and do things like just the two of us, but also if the situation were different, I would be calling her up to go out and do things just the two of us. I would be
Yeah.
actively pursuing her. That's kind of the underlying assumption there, and that's why I say like men and women can't actually just be friends, because there's always going to be some level of like, yeah, but I would, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get it.
Maybe that's personal to me. Maybe I'm a weirdo. Maybe I'm
No, I
a
completely
fucking
understand.
social toad or something.
I completely understand that. But I think for me there are basically the reverse where I friend zone. Basically, when you friend zone them yourself, right? Like you've decided that this is never happening. I think that in that case, I think I would call them friends rather than acquaintances because I will treat them like my friends.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Either way, though, to answer the question, the initial question, no.
No.
Basically, no. Like, don't ever try to be friends with a girl if you are interested in her, and then try to turn it into something else. That's not a thing that happens. At least not really. Again, there are exceptions, but lottery investment strategy, right? Terrible plan.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, cool. What do we have next?
Last question for today would be: what do you do when a girl you're casually seeing wants to be your girlfriend or be official, exclusive, whatever?
So whenever
I think,
she wants to have the talk.
yeah,
Okay. Well, hopefully you already know the answer to it before she asks you, right? If she comes to you and says like, "Hey, look, we're having a great time. I like everything that we're doing. I want us to be exclusive. I want us to be boyfriend and girlfriend." Then you should already know in your head. You should not be making the decision right there on the spot. Because if you do that, then you're gonna like, and it's not gonna work well. Instead, you just say like, I mean, you basically got three options, right? Which is, yes, okay, sounds good. Two, no, I think everything's good the way that it is. I want to keep the status quo. If it's a hill you're willing to die on, and it's one that I'm willing to die on, then we might have to end it here. Or your option three is, actually, I've been kind of getting tired of this relationship and I don't think that it's going anywhere. So I think we should probably just end it here, right? Those are your three options. That's it. You just have to decide which one you want.
yeah. I think, yeah, there's nothing else to it. Like you know, like you know the answer to the question whenever she asks.
Yeah, you might not want to say it, but you never
Yeah,
know.
there's a completely different story, but you know.
Yeah.
And in that experience, in my experience, there, it's better to just be honest straight away.
Yeah. Yes. To be decisive, to be assertive, and to not mince words, and don't apologize for it, right? Don't maybe let's think about it, or to do like sometimes I've heard this one, and I've tried this before in the past. It was a terrible idea of like, yeah, maybe, you know what? I'll tell you what, let's have like a trial relationship. We can, let's say like 3 months. We can be boyfriend and girlfriend for like 3 months. Like, what a fucking terrible idea. Terrible.
Yeah.
Awful idea. No, it's it's stupid. It's pointless. Instead of trying to like worm your way around it or be like a lawyer with your words or some shit, just be real about it. And if you want to keep the status quo, if you want to keep seeing each other casually, then just say that, you know. And if you want, you can throw in a fake because, you know what? I'm actually really busy with work and with some other life commitments right now. I don't think I have the time to give you the kind of real relationship that you need. So all that I really have to offer is us keeping it like this and keeping it casual. So if that still works for you, then great, we can keep going as is. And if it doesn't, then sad to see you go, but I understand.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I keep out another question here. How about the case when she, as your friend, tries to match you with one of her girlfriends? Any stories or experiences?
If she's trying to set you up with her friend, guaranteed she's not interested in you. Like, not even a little bit. Because women are too competitive and catty and bitchy.
Oh yeah, but it's still a very good thing. So it tells you two things. First of all, it tells you that yes, she is not interested in you whatsoever. However, she has someone that she feels fits your personality and that you could be a good match, which means she considers you safe, basically. So in that case, I would accept a date. I've gone on a couple of those, uh, and it's been great because then she is actually thought through who you are as a person and which of her friends, depending on who would like you and also who she thinks you might like, which means generally it's a good idea to just go.
Yes, or she's trying to find somebody with low enough standards to fuck her fat friend.
That can also be the case.
She might just be trying to pawn the friend off on someone, anyone. And so if that's the situation, then like, I don't know about that.
I would very fast ask for a picture
Yeah,
just to verify.
absolutely.
Or you can do the full 360, and then when she says that, you can just go, dang, I was hoping to date you. That's like the only chance you have of ever doing anything with that girl. If
Yeah,
she offers up your friend, you have to be straight to the point and just say, like, oh, that's too bad. I really wanted you.
yeah. Or you can be like, it's an interesting offer. Counter offer, 1+1. I get a date with your friend, but I get a date with you first. Nah, right? Like, fuck it. Shoot for the moon in that case.
Yeah. Or you can take it very, very far and go for something like, so I really like you. So I hope this friend of yours is your twin.
Right. Or is this one of those things where like I'm asking for a friend, but actually it's just you in disguise? Are you gonna put on like a fake mustache and show up to the date? What's the deal here, right? Because it's clear that you and I should be together. So, yeah, you can try to shoot your shot then. But if you accept the date with the friend, anything with her is off the table for good. And in all
Yeah.
honesty, it probably was off the table anyway if she's offering you up to her friend.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next question.
I think we're out of questions.
Are we out of questions? Oh, good. Man, we did a good job today. All right. So, unlike last week where we made it to like 2 hours on the damn stream, I'm actually going to get to go to bed at a reasonable time tonight. This is exciting. Awesome. And then if we're out of questions and the peanut gallery, you guys have no more questions for us right now, then I think that this is where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the week. So thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Paul, for being here for the player panel, joining me on the Q&A. And if you guys haven't done it yet, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me, really helps me, really helps the channel. So thank you in advance so much for doing that. Thank you for watching and making it this far into the video. And I'm looking forward to next week when, Paul, you and I need to figure out what we're going to do for for Live with Jack number 100.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
hit
next
the
week.
centennial next. Yeah, today's 99. Can you believe it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Time has
So
literally just flown by. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now.
I know, it's wild, isn't it? And we haven't missed a single week yet. Yes, we'll figure out something special to do for next week for number 100. But make sure that you tune in for that and join in, because it's whatever we do, it's gonna be fun. And there may be some rum involved, there may be some whiskey involved, there may be some more people involved. This may be a more community focused event. I don't know. We'll see. But whatever you do over the next week, have a good one, and I will see you then. So until next week, gents, Papa Jack